All right. What's going on, guys? I'm back again. I know it's been a while since I've been on YouTube, but you know how it is during this post-pandemic. Uh, very difficult to do anything, but this is more for educational, informational purposes. Basically, something to look back on and give you an idea of what you can prepare to do uh, as far as in terms of moving or retiring to another country. But Mr. Jerry, if you don't mind introducing yourself for the awesome people out there.
Yeah, no problem. My name is Jerry Kudanian. I'm from Philippines and beyond, and from Chicago originally. And I moved out to the Philippines. As a matter of fact, a year ago, we just had our 1 year anniversary
Nice.
here in Dumaguete. Uh, Married to a Filipina for the last 5 years. Known my wife for six, and pretty much been coming to the Philippines since 2014, averaging about 2 trips a year. So I pretty much had about 10 trips to the Philippines under my belt before I decided to move to the Philippines full time.
Okay, that's not bad. I would get into the initial of how you got to the U.S., but I'm gonna skip all that. so
No, yeah, don't go through. Yeah, I mean, you can ask
yeah,
whatever questions you want, Malcolm. It's all cool.
yeah, I don't want to take up all your time, but
No, dude. I mean,
no,
you know what? I got an hour to kill easily. There's some stuff I got to do today, but it's like I got a bunch of stuff done yesterday, which was Sunday here,
yeah,
and I got a bunch of stuff done. And again, I'm on no schedule here, man. I'm not working or nothing.
yeah.
So if I don't get
I mean,
something done today, just get it done tomorrow, man. It's no big deal.
right. I can imagine, the amount, like you said, the amount of time and free time you must have on your hands. You two just trying to find things to do in between time, and uh, I want to get into that first. I mean, what's it like being retired or in moving abroad?
Uh, well, I mean, you know what? I like being retired because I got a lot of time on my hands and I can do kind of what I want to do nowadays. Uh, I mean, I don't take me wrong. I enjoyed working, but I worked 48 years of my life. And again, I decided to take early retirement at 62
Right.
just because I was able to afford to do so. I mean, if you want to, my full retirement age is at 67. I mean, if you want to wait till 67 to retire, you probably don't have a lot of years left to do what you want to do. I
Yeah.
probably should have taken early retirement earlier than 62. I probably could have done it around, probably around maybe my mid 50s, but a bulk of my wealth, not a bulk of it, probably about a half of my net worth.
Okay.
I made some good chunk of money towards in my 50s when I was in my mid 50s. So I had to kind of stay and keep working. And when you get to a point where you're 55, 56 with only, 6 more years to go to collect Social Security, then you probably want to just,
Right.
wait and retire at 62. But it's cool. So far, had a lot of fun moving out here into the Philippines. I've lived abroad in other countries before, so to me, it wasn't like a big move or anything like that.
Right. Yeah.
But my wife, Diana, really made it easy for me moving out here and stuff. I mean, obviously she speaks the language, but everybody
Mhm.
speaks English here anyway, so it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
But again, dealing with the Filipinos, she's able to do that probably much better than I would. And the transition here was really very smooth. No, no issues. I mean, again, you got your things where you get the brownouts here and in Dumaguete. So that's kind of a thing you got to deal with. Where you may lose power for an hour or half an hour or whatever.
Right.
But just little things like that. But again, when you move out here, you can't let stuff bother you. You have to kind of basically forget about what you've known from your home country. Like the U.S. Forget about all that. You have to kind of move on, and then you're in the Philippines now, so you have to kind of adapt to how they do things in the Philippines. That's
Exactly.
just that would be any country that you move to, you have to adapt. Hey, Rain Man, how you doing? So, but
I,
it's been it's been smooth so far, man.
yeah, yeah, I hear you. So before I get into the questions,
Sure.
initially, what was it like mentally and physically, just prepping to move?
You mean when
Obviously,
I was in Chicago,
yeah.
or to get ready for the move? You mean?
I mean, was
Uh
it not a last minute thing, but like
no.
were there things that you had to um pretty much do before you actually started moving, moving things.
Yeah. Uh, well, I mean, the longer time frame you have to plan, the better it is. Okay. So
Right,
I got married. Let's see, my first trip was out here to the Philippines in 2014, met my wife, and then in 2015 we got married. So then she came to Chicago, to the States, right? But
right,
before we even talked about getting married, she told me, she goes, "Hey man, I don't have a problem marrying you, but if but you need to retire in the Philippines, or else I'm not going to marry you." That was basically it. I'm like, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I've been to the Philippines a few times before we got married. I like the country. I like the people. And so, yeah, I'm cool with that.
right.
And so what we did, so she came, let me see, when did she come to Chicago? She came in 2016. That's when she came.
Oh,
2016, I think it was. And then we started planning from there. I still had 4 or 5 years to go, or 4 years before Social Security. So we started planning, but really the planning didn't really go into effect. Actually, you know what? I sold my condo probably about 6 months after she got to Chicago, just
right,
because I can get a good price for it, and it to me, she didn't really care. Actually, when we moved to a smaller apartment, we sold the condo, moved to a smaller apartment. She was actually happier, believe it or not.
oh,
So, she didn't care. I mean, we just pulled the money out of the condo,
right,
and then once we got to the apartment, we sold some furniture I had, and we downsized used furniture and all that. So we started downsizing. Once I sold the condo, we started downsizing, right?
okay,
So if you want to start, you don't want to be selling some of your stuff at the last minute before you move to the Philippines, because you're not going to get anything for it, right? So the longer of a
exactly,
time frame you have to sell stuff, the more money you're going to get for your stuff, right? I mean that's normal.
right,
So we started pre-planning, um, and then you got to set up your bank accounts ahead of time. And luckily for us, Diana had a couple of accounts that she set up before she came to Chicago in the Philippines. She set them up in the Philippines before she
right,
came, so that we were able to link the accounts. When she came to Chicago, walk into our bank with Wells Fargo, because we use Wells Fargo a lot, and you can do
right,
international transfers from bank to bank. It only costs you $4, and you can move up to $3,000 at a time for $4. So that's one of the things that people always complain about, is the ATM fees
yeah,
that they accumulate, when they try to get cash when they're in the Philippines. Now you can get a Schwab account. If you have a Schwab account, investment account,
I
you
have
have a
that.
Schwab ATM card, then they'll reimburse you the fees. So certain
Right,
banks will reimburse fees, but overall, you want to set all your banking up ahead of time. You want to set up backup like the ways of getting money to yourself. So, for example, something happened to Wells Fargo and they block my account or something like that, you know. Then you want to have maybe another account where you've got like a third party, a money transfer company like Remitly or Zoom or something, where you can still get yourself some money sent to you, you know. So you don't want to be under one type of account.
No.
Where, you know, if that the source of income gets blocked, then you're kind of screwed, you know. So you don't have to like fly back to the U.S. just to undo your account or whatever. So, but what we did also is before I came out to the Philippines, I was talking to a friend out in Davao, and he said, "Hey man, get the Magic Jack." So I got Magic Jack because, yeah, Magic Jack is really cool. It's been around since the 70s, man.
I heard about it.
Yeah, you know what? It's like a little contraption you can buy. You can plug it into the into your light socket, or you can plug it into your computer. And what you can also do, it's basically internet. It's a phone number on the internet, and you can basically. I was able to port my U.S. number to my Magic Jack, which was nice. So then I didn't have to go in and change my phone number or anything like that with all my bank accounts. So Magic Jack is real cool, man. Because what's happening now is if a lot of times you might want to get into one of your accounts or something online, but they need to verify. You know, they need to send you an email or something to verify who you are, like a code.
Right.
So then it's nice to have that Magic Jack because you can call anywhere in the U.S. like a regular phone call, and there's no cost at all from the Philippines using Magic Jack. The only thing you can't do with Magic Jack is they can't text you a code like a bank or something.
Right. Yeah.
But a lot of you banks, they'll give you the option of either getting a text to your cell phone or getting a code sent to your email. So hopefully, you just choose the email account that they can send a text to or something, that they can send like your code to or something like that. So you want to have your banking all set up. You want to have Magic Jack, and Magic Jack takes about $115 for the for the hardware to hook into your computer. And then I got like 1 year was like I think the first year is like $99, but then I got 3 more years for $99 after that. So again, for 4 years, everything cost me somewhere around about $250 with the software or whatever, the little USB plug-in that you got, and then your service and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. It's good. So again, you want to get your phone stuff set up, and Magic Jack I can use anywhere. If I go to another country, all I need is a laptop to plug it into a USB port.
That's not bad. Yeah. Do they actually have a website or something that people?
Yeah, they got a website called Magic Jack. Just go to the website. And what's funny is when I called up customer service, I was talking to them. They were in the Philippines,
Wow.
So, yeah, and you're going to get a lot of customer service from companies. They're all in the Philippines. A lot of them were in India, customer service, third party. But a lot of them have moved out of India and putting their customer service staff in the Philippines because of the accent and stuff. People tend to have an easier time understanding the Filipino accent versus an Indian accent, English accent and stuff. So.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, so, I mean, but again, the better you're prepared before coming out to the Philippines, the less headaches and the smoother the transition's gonna be.
Now, speaking of cards and stuff, obviously they expire.
You mean credit cards?
Yeah, credit cards, debit cards, whatever.
Yeah, you know what? Another thing I did and I failed to mention a few minutes ago, before you come out, you want to have a traveling mailbox.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so because you want to get your mail, right? And don't get a PO box. You don't want to get a PO box nowadays because banks will not accept that as a mailing address anymore. So what you
Yeah,
do
I
is you
thought,
get a traveling mailbox, and you want to get that instead of a PO box, because a PO box you'll still have to go back to the U.S. to get your mail. They don't really forward it. A traveling mailbox, and I did a video on my YouTube channel. I've got a video about it. What's nice about a traveling mailbox is that they'll give you a street address as well. So you'll get a real street address with your traveling mailbox, whichever state you want. So you can
okay,
put that into your banking information as your mailing address, because it'll have a street address.
right,
And what they'll do is wherever your street address is on your traveling mailbox, they'll forward that to the main processing center in, I think it's North Carolina, where the traveling mailbox company is. They hold all your mail, and then you can go online and you can ask them to open your mail. You can view your mail. You can shred your mail. You can have your mail forwarded. So what I did, I just got some mail yesterday for my traveling mailbox, because I received a credit card because one of my credit cards expired. So I got my new card, and I got it forwarded to me via, I think it was FedEx. Cost me $22, and I got it within 5-6 business days. And then I got the mail. So you can get that mail forwarded to you anywhere in the world. And it's nice. And if it's junk mail, then just shred it. You can. It takes like a few hours. They can open up your mail. Sometimes one business day to open up your mail. You can look at it online. If it's junk mail, then you can just shred it and get rid of it. And then if it's mail that you want, you can have it held in your, like a folder.
yeah,
They'll hold your mail. I think up to 30 days it's free. After that, they might charge you. I think it's like $1 a month or something for any
wow.
mail you want held over there.
So what's what would you say the what kind of gap would you leave to for people to like renew certain cards, passports, IDs, things like that through, like you said, the traveling mailbox?
Well, the traveling mailbox just received your mail from your credit card company, right? It has nothing to
Oh,
do with your credit cards.
right.
What I would suggest that you do is, I mean, you need credit cards to do
Right.
anything. You're in the Philippines, you're going to be using cash, right? But
Yeah.
if you go online to book a flight or something like that, you're going to need a credit card. I mean, you can book a flight with a debit card. But you got to be careful with a debit card, because somebody hacks your account, they can steal money out of your account, and you can lose. On a debit card, you can actually lose up to about $500 for a
Yeah.
transaction,
I've
even though
never
it
had.
wasn't your fault. So, you want to have you had that done to you?
No, I've had all my cards.
Have you been hacked on a debit card?
Nah, all my cards are
Right.
debit cards, but
Oh, they are.
the most.
I would suggest you start applying for credit cards.
Yeah, I
And
see.
you at least want to have 2 credit cards. I mean, I have 4 credit cards, but if you want to have at least 2, because if one of your credit cards, I don't know, ATM machine, eats your card or something, you got a backup card. But I got 4 cards in case stuff like that happens. Now, with your credit cards, what I would suggest is you want to get a PIN number too, in case you ever have to use an ATM
Right.
somewhere. So get a PIN number for your credit card. Get at least 2 credit cards. I would get 3. And then periodically just use your card. What you do is you go on to your, you go on your credit card's website, and give them a travel notice. Say, hey, I'm going to be here in the Philippines for such and such time. And then you use the card up, use the card a little bit so that it doesn't be, so it's not considered a dead account. When you don't use a card, some credit card companies sometimes will consider a dead account and just close your account because it's inactive. So you periodically, just use it once a month or something like that, just to kind of keep it active so that they don't close your account. But I
Right.
would suggest that you get your credit cards ahead of time. Don't wait till you're in the Philippines to apply for a credit card.
Yeah.
While you're working in the U.S., you got income coming in, then you apply for a credit card.
Hmm.
So I at least have 2. I got 4. 2 to 3 cards is good to have with you.
Right. Exactly. Is there any credit cards in specific you would recommend for like traveling purposes and you
You know
know
what?
like
My
things?
Capital One's a good credit card. Get a Capital One credit card. Apply for one of them.
Okay.
What I noticed with the Capital One, well, they all got chips on them now, so they're cool.
Yeah.
But I would
Yeah.
get a Capital One credit card. I've got a Fidelity credit card, which is good. But I got a, look for Fidelity. I don't think you have to have a Fidelity investment account or anything to get a Fidelity account, but look for a Fidelity credit card.
Fidelity. Okay.
Yeah, Fidelity is good. What's nice about Fidelity is if I go online to buy a plane ticket or something like that, with Fidelity, I can just put in my number,
Right.
okay, and it'll accept it. Now, when I do that with my Capital One, a lot of times they won't accept it because Capital One is good when you insert the card into the machine where they can read the chip. So
Okay.
anytime you do that, the transaction will go through with Capital One. With Fidelity, I got a chip on the card, but if I input it manually, the number online, they'll take it also. Where Capital One will not. So again, that's why you always want to have a couple. I would have more than two cards. I would have probably at least three because
Mhm.
some cards are easier to use when you're online when you're inputting the number in manually, and other cards are better when when you insert the card in a machine and they read the chip. So that's why you want to have multiple cards and stuff. So it doesn't jam you up when you're somewhere and you need to use the card.
Okay.
I would say get 4 credit cards. That's what I would say. Get 4 of them. You don't have to use them, but just get
Yeah.
4 of them and then just rotate them around just to
Yeah.
use them occasionally to keep them active. That's it.
Right. I think the stigma and sometimes people have an issue with credit cards because they have like different fees that come with it and you have to pay interest and I understand that. I've never had a credit card, so I wouldn't know.
Oh,
Uh,
well, you know what? All my credit cards, I don't have a yearly fee on none of mine. They're all free.
really?
But see, think about it. If you're going to use a credit card out here, by the time you retire,
Mhm.
or if you can, you should always pay your bills at the end of the month on a credit card. So basically, you're using the bank's money for free,
Right.
as
Oh, okay.
because if you pay it off at the end of the month, you're not giving any interest.
Wow. Did not know that. Wow.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't,
I
you
mean,
can pay your credit card off at the end of the month.
every
Uh,
card is different, obviously, but um,
Well, don't get a how should I say? What's that one? I wouldn't get an American Express or anything like that. Just
right.
get a Visa card and get Visa. Don't even. I would prefer Visa. A lot more places take Visa
Yeah.
than they do Mastercard. Visa or
Okay.
Mastercard, you're fine, but mostly Visa. But don't even
Right.
mess with American Express because a lot of places don't even take American Express anymore.
No.
And
Yeah.
and what again, if you can pay your debt off at the end of the month, then it's the best way because then you don't pay any interest to the bank and you're using their money for free.
Right. Yeah.
But again, don't get don't if you're one of these guys that's going to get into credit card debt, then yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. But you're going to need credit cards when you're living overseas. That's for sure.
For anybody that is wondering if there's a credit card that is relatively stress free, there's a card I found. If you go to the website, it's called www.spincard.com. That's SPYN. Um, it's basically a credit card that acts as a debit card to keep you out of debt and actually is a cash back credit card. So
Yeah, but
it's
how do
a
they make money? How do they make money?
yeah.
There's hidden fees and stuff every time you use that card, right?
Oh, I don't know. It's just a website I found, but
Oh, yeah. You know what? Them kind of websites, there's all kinds of hidden fees and stuff. I would
yeah,
suggest you're going to get a credit card, go straight to the major banks and apply. That's what I would do. And you can apply online. You know what? Wells Fargo is a good bank that is a good bank where you should have a savings account, Malcolm. You guys got Wells Fargo where you live? Do you have a
yeah,
Wells Fargo
yeah.
bank? You got Wells Fargo?
I'm not sure if we have a bank here. I have to look into that.
Yeah, Wells Fargo is the best bank because you can open up a savings account with a minimum of $300 that you have to keep in there for no fees. And then what's
Right.
nice about Wells Fargo is you can link if you're. How do you send your girlfriend money or your wife or girlfriend? How do you send her money?
I usually do it through like Zoom or Remitly or some one of those.
Remitly and stuff. Yeah, which
Yeah,
is cool. But does she have a bank account over there in the Philippines?
not that I know of. I don't think so.
Oh,
I
okay. Yeah. I
actually,
mean, if she had a bank account in the Philippines like BPI or BDO, then
yeah,
she can just give you that. She can just give you her account number and stuff, and then you can link it with your Wells Fargo, and you can
yeah.
send her money that way as well too. You know.
My
But
thing
what
is
she do? What does she do? Cash pickup? You just send it, and she picks it up at a
either,
bank or
either that or
Lulier. Or,
I'll send it to her another way. Um,
hmm
Sometimes she uses relatives or family members' card, but she just
hmm
opened up a new PayPal account. But problem is they don't. I don't think. I'm not sure they issue PayPal cards there.
Yeah,
But
don't mess with PayPal because PayPal can kind of jam you up and stuff,
yeah,
like they try to verify you and this and that. What I would suggest is if she doesn't have a bank account, you can use Remitly. I use Remitly as my backup way of sending money to the Philippines or myself if I need to. And what you can do when you use Remitly is you can have her pick the money up as long as she's got a ID, she's got ID, she can pick the money up at BDO or BPI Bank or Lulier, which is like a pawn shop or whatever. Like not Lulier is like you can do you can do all different kinds of transactions and stuff there. So there's all different kinds of places that she can pick the money up. It gives you options and stuff. So I like Remitly. I really like Remitly.
all right, that's not bad. So, is there ways to avoid those fees? I mean, at the ATM, at
Well, you know what?
the
The ATM. Well,
ATM,
that's what I mean.
money.
Well, here's the thing you can do. There's different ways of avoiding fees. Like, for example, you use Remitly, right? If
Yeah,
you use Remitly, there's two ways you can send money. You can send money where it's instantaneously gets to your girlfriend, and you can
yeah,
pay like I think it's like $4 or something.
yeah.
Or if you use Remitly, the other process where if she gets the money in 3 to 5 days, then
Okay,
you don't have that $4 fee, but the exchange rate won't be as good. So if you're sending small amounts, I would suggest, if you're sending amounts like less than $200 at each time, use Remitly with the 3 to 5 day transactions to get to her. Then you don't have to pay that $4 transaction fee. See what I'm saying? Even though it'll take, you won't get as good of an exchange rate. By getting not as good of an exchange rate, it might only cost you maybe $1 less than what it would if you paid the $4 transaction fee with the better exchange rate. So
right.
smaller amounts, use the longer time frame to send for her to pick up the money.
hmm So, there is another card out there. I don't know if you heard about it. This is the last question. It's called TransferWise, and I think it's like some kind of current international currency card. I don't know if you've ever.
Transfer wise,
Yeah,
is it a card or is it like Remitly?
it's
It's like
it's
Remitly, isn't it?
it's actually a card where you can keep
Oh,
different currencies on it.
hmm. Oh, you can keep different currencies on that.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard it. I think you have to
I've heard of TransferWise. I thought it was like something like Remitly, same kind of thing. I used. I haven't used them yet, but I signed up for World Remit, which is
hmm
another company like Remitly that's supposed to be good. One thing I want to mention: if I get cut off here, say if I get knocked off because of my internet, what you do is just wait a couple of minutes. I'll reboot. Okay, I'll reboot my internet and I'll come back on. Just to let you know. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, TransferWise I heard is pretty good too, but I haven't used them or anything. But again, you want to have, and the whole point is you want to have multiple access to funds in case something goes wrong, and your main access to funds, somehow gets blocked or whatever, you want to be able to get money from other accounts to yourself.
Right. Yeah, all it is basically a card. I think they make you deposit $20 in order to actually for them to send you a card, and once
Oh,
you have,
okay.
you can deposit whatever kind of currencies you want on it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know a whole lot about it. I just heard it was a relatively good card, but I don't know how good it is. So
Wow. Yeah, yeah, I might look into it myself. Look into it. You know what? Hey, for $20, maybe try it out, see how it works.
yeah,
If you got to put $20 on, what do you got to do? You got to go online to set it up.
yeah, they have a. I think they have a website where you can set all that up. So um, I'll have to look more into it though.
Yeah, it might be worthwhile looking into it and try it out. Put $20 on it, get the card, and see how it works and stuff. Again, you got to some of them you got to try these out. For me, for anybody watching, having 3 to 4 credit cards is good to have before you move to the Philippines. Having multiple access to different accounts, like for example, you want to set up 2 or 3 bank accounts, your savings accounts, or where maybe
Right.
one you tie Remitly to one of the accounts. You know what I mean? Then you have
Mhm.
the other account, maybe like Wells Fargo, which will do bank-to-bank transfers directly to a Philippine bank. So again, you want to have multiple access, multiple accounts in case one of your accounts gets locked down for whatever reason. You want to be able to access other accounts to send yourself money.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of that, are there any like do's or don'ts as far as preparing to like retire or move abroad or somewhere?
Do's and don'ts before you retire or move abroad. Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you really want to do your homework before you move to the Philippines.
Right.
But you can only learn so much, when you're in your home country. You
Yeah.
can only learn so much. Now, the reason I did multiple trips, you know, 5 years prior to moving to the Philippines is, I was working on my YouTube channel and stuff like that. But the first 2 or 3 years, I just came out to check the country out to make sure I'm gonna like moving there. There's guys that never been to the Philippines, and all of a sudden, hey, they decide to sell everything and move to the Philippines just like that. Yeah, guys like that, it happens, and probably most of them will go back home, but some of them will like it and they just stay. So I think the average stay for a foreigner here, for a foreigner, not just an American, is 5 years, and I think that is shrinking even less. It might even be down to 3.5 years. So again, the better you prepare yourself before you
Yeah.
move to the Philippines, it probably increases your chance of making it out here. And it's really, how should I say, when you say do's and don'ts, it's really the individual. It depends what kind of person you are. If you're the kind of guy that's never been out of the country, this is your first trip out of the country, you may not like it and you might come right back home. It's hard to say. You got to definitely be streetwise when you come out
Mhm.
here, because people are going to try to rip you off and stuff like that. And I'm not saying hold you up at gunpoint or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. It's they're going to try to maybe overcharge you for a taxi cab ride, or overcharge you for at the market or stuff like that. And that's going to happen. That's going to happen. And that's kind of where your spouse comes in handy. If you hook up with a woman that's smart, that's got her act together, a
Mhm.
Filipina that's got her shit together, she's gonna keep you out of trouble. And when I
Right.
say trouble, I mean she's gonna keep you from getting ripped off and stuff like that. So again, a
Mhm.
lot of it's common sense. I mean, I basically, my wife does all the shopping and everything. But if I go to the market and I'm looking to buy some fruit or something, and if I feel
Right.
it's overpriced, then I'll just walk away and go to another stand. I mean, a lot of times we'll go on the boulevard here, in Dumaguete. We'll sit in the boulevard. People will come up to us and sell us grapes or whatever. I mean, just the other day, I'm sitting there and somebody goes, "Hey, the grapes are good. I tasted one; it's really good." Guy goes, $250 a kilo. I'm like, "Nah, man." So I got them down to 200 a kilo. Again, the other day, same thing, but different grapes. The grapes weren't as good. I got the grapes for 150 a kilo. So again,
Yeah.
it's good to barter and stuff like that. And you're gonna have to learn how to barter and stuff, or not barter, how to, how to negotiate and stuff like that, because they're always gonna give you a higher price and stuff.
Exactly. Which bringing me to my next question. Speaking of that, how do you spot when someone is getting over on you doing business, or is it easier if you have, say, if a foreigner was with a local girl or a girlfriend or wife, um, what do you say for the foreigners that aren't particularly with anybody? I mean, is it easier for them to spot when someone's getting over on them, or is you
You mean
just,
if a foreigner's trying to get over on you? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, local, either
Or if a
either.
local? Actually, you know what? A local's gonna try to get over on you. They're gonna try. And
Right,
especially if you're out there maybe looking at buying some property or some land or something like that,
yeah,
they're gonna try. But you're probably better off watching out for the foreigner, because a foreigner is desperate. He's definitely gonna try to approach you to con you into some kind of deal, business deal or land deal or something like that. That's the one you got to watch, is the foreigner. I'd be more skeptical on the foreigner than the Filipino. The Filipino, yeah, I mean, it's very obvious when he's trying to get over on you. The price is really high and stuff. But the foreigner is going to try to scam you in a different way. So again, if it's too good to be true, the deal, then there's something wrong. You know what I mean? So
right,
again, somebody's like, "Oh yeah, man, I got a great deal for you." Too good to be true. Run the other way. you know.
exactly, yeah. Um, Now, in terms of transportation and different modes of transportation that you know foreigners want to own, um, what do they need, or what do they require for you to like actually own those transportations? I'm not
Well,
talking about jeepneys and the bigger
are you
stuff,
talking about like a car or a scooter
cars,
or a motorcycle
bikes,
or
and
something?
scooters. Yeah,
Yeah, you know what? You can come here and buy a motorcycle, or you can come here and buy a car, and you don't need a driver's license or anything. You can buy it, no
wow,
problem. You got the money, it's cash. So you
wow,
got the money, you can buy a car, you can buy a scooter, you can buy whatever you want. Not an issue. And you can put it in your name also. No problem there. I bought a
amazing.
couple of scooters. Cars are kind of expensive here. But if you get a car, get a used car. And you can get an older car, because older cars are kind of they're not expensive to refurbish an older car. It's not expensive. So,
Right,
but yeah, you can get something in your name, and you don't even need a driver's license here. Now, getting a driver's license, they're a little bit stricter, but it depends which LTO office you go to and which island. But now you have to kind of show them that you're a long-term resident to be able to get a
right,
driver's license. A lot of these places will not give you a driver's license if you're on a tourist visa. But again, it depends. You can go to one town at the LTO office and say in one city, and they might turn you down. But if you go to another small town somewhere and you apply for a driver's license, they might say, "Yeah, it's fine, no problem." So again, depends where you're at.
yeah,
And if you
obviously.
got the cash, dude, you can do whatever you want here. You know.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty liberated to me.
Yeah, you know what? There are rules out there and laws, but Filipinos don't really follow all the laws and rules here.
Uh,
So again, there's fixers. You grease somebody's palm with a little bit of money, you'd be surprised what you can do here.
yeah, true. Speaking of laws, how do you? I don't mean to get too political, but
Right.
I I don't know if you heard this, but have you heard anything about the president there wanting to ban Facebook or do away with Facebook or something?
For about a week or two ago, we weren't able to get on Facebook for about 5 or 6 days, and I don't know if they were messing with Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah, they're not very happy with Facebook here. If they ban Facebook, I really don't care, to be,
Mhm.
to be honest with you. But don't know. He could now. Duterte is basically like Trump.
Yeah,
It's mostly liberals here, and they're against Duterte because he's trying to clean things up. It's the same concept as what you got with Trump in the United States right
yeah, like where he tried to ban TikTok or whatever, and that
now. Yeah,
plan failed miserably. But there's
yeah,
too many people opposing it. So,
yeah.
but anyways, do you have any advice or information that could benefit individuals looking to like denounce their home country citizenship, and is it worth
Oh,
it in the long run?
well, if they're going to denounce their home country's citizenship, then that means they're taking citizenship somewhere else, right?
Right.
No, I wouldn't denounce your home country's citizenship, especially if you're an American. Hang on
Right.
to an American passport. Don't be
Exactly.
stupid. Uh, it's very hard to get Filipino citizenship here, but you can. But you got to be out here, I think, at least 10 years before you have a chance of getting Filipino citizenship. But that would be the dumbest thing to do. The Filipino passport really is very weak. It's not worth anything. You'll be limited to where you can travel.
Right.
No, you want to keep your U.S. passport and just become a resident here in the Philippines. And that's kind of what I'm working on right now is residency here in the Philippines. And because of all this COVID stuff, I was about to go for a visa run
Right.
because I'm on a Balik Bayan visa because I'm married to a Filipino. So basically, what that
Okay.
is when you come to the Philippines at the airport, my wife asked for a 12-month visa for me, which is no fees. And the Balik Bayan visa fee, Balik Bayan is not even really a visa. It's just a privilege. It gives me a privilege for the OFWs, which my wife is considered an OFW, okay, because she out of the country, she came to the U.S. If an OFW wants to come back home, the OFW and their family members, like kids or husband, they get like a 12-month privilege of no visa fees, and but I have to do a visa run before that 1 year expires. Okay, and I wasn't able to do my visa run. I had a flight. We had flights to go to France, and with
Oh,
all
wow.
the stuff and the stuff the flight got canceled even a month before our flight was about
Right.
to leave, canceled, and we decided not to try to get another flight because again, the COVID, the research, Europe and
Obviously.
stuff, so a lot of issues there. It's kind of hard to get back in the country, so we decided not to do that. So what I did is I switched over from the Balik Bayan visa to a tourist visa, and I got a 6-month tourist visa, and now I'm in the process of applying for a resident visa, which will enable me to go in and out of the country without any issues. I won't have to do a visa run. So, in case stuff like this pops up again. So,
Right.
if you're coming to the Philippines and you're married, I would suggest you get the resident visa, but don't try to get a Filipino citizenship. Don't do that.
Nah. So you don't recommend dual citizenship for any foreigner?
Nope, not at all. Hey, give me 1 second, Malcolm. I just want to get more coffee. I'll be right back, okay? Give me 1 second.
All right, take your time, man. Wow. I mean, chat. What's going on, Ray, man? Hey, what's up, Ed? Marlon.
Okay. Yeah, don't. I mean, for my wife, she's got Filipino citizenship and she's got U.S. citizenship. But
Right.
for a foreigner to come here, and as Ed Lippett says, yeah, you can get a 13A in the States.
Oh,
And yeah, I've heard of that. So you can actually get a resident visa before you get to the Philippines.
Wow.
Whether they will honor or not, I'm not sure. But yeah, I heard you can get a 13A visa in the U.S. You can do that. Yep. But see,
I'd
what we were
imagine.
going to do, the reason we didn't get a 13A visa, because you can go to a Philippine embassy, I think it's in D.C., to get your 13A visa there. I don't know if you can do it in Chicago, but I know in D.C. you can.
Yeah.
But what we were going to do for a while is go in and out and just get a Balik Bayan visa, and just do the visa run and then come back in and get another Balik Bayan visa. We were going to do that for a few years. But we decided, stuff popping up like this, that getting the resident visa is a lot better than doing the Balik Bayan once a year.
Hmm. It's not bad, but I have to remember that by like that visa whenever I decide to make that jump. But
Well, but here's the thing, though. When you in order for you to get a Balik Bayan visa, you got to be married, right? Are you married?
no, no,
So you have to be married, and your wife has to be at the airport with you, coming to the airport.
right,
So
obviously,
just because you're married and you fly into Manila by yourself, you won't be able to get a Balik Bayan visa. But what you can do is, if you were married, then what you can do is say, meet your wife in Hong Kong, have her fly to Hong Kong if she's able to, and then you fly into Hong Kong, and then you both fly in together to Manila, and then
mm,
she'll be able to get well, I don't know if they'll let her, because there's a rule. Technically she's supposed to have been out of the Philippines for a year
right,
before she's considered an OFW to coming back. But I know
okay,
people that, that go in and out like that and come back in and are able to get the Balik Bayan. So yeah, she probably could fly to Hong Kong. You meet her in Hong Kong, and you both fly into Manila together. You got a better chance of getting a Balik Bayan visa. You will get a Balik Bayan visa, but just you flying in by yourself, you won't be able to.
wow, mm,
Right, here we go. Ed Lippett says if you do it here in the US, it's only 1 year. Then you need to apply again for the permanent 13A. So
wow,
again, you're
that's a
better off
headache.
waiting till you get to the Philippines to apply
Yeah,
for the residency visa, because you're going to have to kind of pay twice, I think.
yeah,
Now, it might not be as much when you apply for the 13A in the States. It might not be as much, but then you're better off just waiting until you get here. And what you can do also, Malcolm, is
mhm,
you're gonna have to go. You can get an NB. You can get a background clearance, in the U.S. before you get here, but it's only going to be your background clearance certificate is only good for 6 months when you get here. So
right,
don't even do a background clearance certificate when you're in the U.S. Just wait till you get to the Philippines,
okay,
and then apply for the 13A visa when you get here. Okay, after you get married, and then just go to NBI. I got to go to NBI today to do a background check on myself. It only cost me $3 to do the
wow.
background NBI background check. Where in the U.S. it's going to cost you at least $60, and then
Now,
you got to send it to Washington to get to get it like notarized and stamped and stuff.
right,
Don't even bother doing it in the U.S. Just wait till you get here. It's a lot
right.
less expensive.
Now is that $3 like around the whole country, or is it just in that
Yeah,
area?
it's $3. I think it's pretty much $3 when you
Okay.
walk into NBI. Uh, and what they do is they'll just fingerprint you. It's like a background check, see if you got anything outstanding here in the Philippines.
Hmm.
And it's pretty much probably the standard $3, pretty much anywhere you go.
Wow.
And then you're gonna need that when you put in the paperwork for the 13A visa. That's one of the requirements that you're gonna need to do.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
It's
Well,
simple. You basically just walk in and they'll fingerprint you and stuff. It takes about
yeah,
2 to 3 weeks to get your results back.
yeah. I can imagine how it is now. With things being backed up. The way it is.
Well, you know what? The NBI is not really backed up, but I think the visa, the BI Bureau of Immigration, is kind of backed up because I think it was shut down for a while.
Yeah.
So they're a little bit backed up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm. So
Yeah. So they're a little bit backed up because I know guys that are kind of uh, their visas have run out. I know I got to go and found out some information from a friend of mine. His visa, he was going to do a visa run after 3 years. The 36-month visa run. A flight got canceled. He went into the BI office. They said you have to write to Manila to ask him to extend his visa. He wrote to Manila, has got no response. So technically, he's an overstayer, but he's got a daughter here that's
wow,
half Filipino. That he's the sole provider.
right.
So I gotta find out some information from him for him on his behalf. So. But
Wow.
yeah, you definitely want to eventually get into a resident visa in case stuff like this COVID stuff happens, and
Right.
all of a sudden you got a visa. Because I knew I had another friend, he had to do a visa run in September, and he went to Turkey. So that was one of the few countries that took Americans in, but he's going to have a hard time getting back in because he's on a tourist visa. He's not married, so he's going to have to
Yeah.
wait it out for a while.
I was gonna say I heard most of Europe was closed except for what UK.
No, actually, well, to Americans, you mean? To Americans, I think
Yeah.
you can only fly to Turkey, Albania, and there might be a few other. Mexico's another place you can go, but not
Right.
a lot of places, not a lot of countries.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the resident visa is cool. What's nice about the resident visa? I think you have to do an annual report, which is like I don't know, 300 to 400 pesos a year. And I don't know if you need an exit clearance certificate for a resident visa. Somebody told me you don't need an exit clearance certificate, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's why I've been hearing stories about people, foreigners trying to leave, and I guess they had their exit clearance or something or the other. I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember the
Well,
situation.
as a tourist, if you're a tourist, if you're on a tourist visa and you've been in the country, I think it's more than 6 months in the Philippines, then you need an exit. I think it's called exit ECC exit clearance certificate, or
Okay.
basically what it is you got before your flight goes out, you got to go into the BI office and you get this form that says you're all paid up and everything. You're all paid up on your visa fees and stuff.
Yeah.
So once you show that, then you can get out of the country. But if you're not paid up on your visa fees, then you won't be able to fly out.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, Rain Man, you need an exit clearance after 6 months if you're on a tourist visa, but I don't think you need an exit clearance certificate if you're on a resident visa
Hmm.
because there are no visa fees to pay.
Wow. So,
But it's good. I'd recommend it.
right. Now I just wanted to ask. Speaking of fees and everything, what types of insurance are there, if any? I haven't heard of like life insurance and stuff.
What kind of insurance you looking for?
Um, well, I was asking like, are there different insurances?
Like health insurance?
Yeah, as far as
Well,
going and staying there, like life insurance and things like that.
I mean, life insurance is optional. Uh,
Okay.
if you want to get life insurance for your spouse, yeah, you're cool. But for health insurance, there's about 4 or 5 different health insurance companies here that you can get a policy with. And you're young. I mean, it's not that expensive, but once you hit over, I think, if once you hit 60 or 62, then they really jack the rate up.
Mhm.
For myself, I'm self-insured. I'm 63. I'm self-insured because it's not expensive. If you're gonna go in for like major, for X-rays or office visits and stuff like that, it's not expensive. Okay, and even certain kind of surgeries are not very expensive here. If you break your arm or whatever,
Right.
it's better just to pay cash. But if you got to go in for major surgeries at a private hospital, that can hit you for some money. It could. But overall, yeah, Rayman says Pacific Cross. There's a few other ones that are pretty good also. Yeah, you can do that. But once you hit like 60, I think, then the rates really jump up. Now, you know what I would suggest is put your wife on Phil Health. That's
Right.
about, I think, $60 a year.
I think you're right.
That'll give you some relief.
Hmm.
That'll give you some relief, you know, if you got to go into the hospital and stuff. But I would suggest, you know, if you're moving to the Philippines, man, you should have some kind of bankroll, backup money, man.
Yeah.
And what I suggest is at least $25,000, but probably more than that.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I would suggest you start saving money now. Now, for me, I got 2 more years coming to get on Medicare. Am I going to sign up for it? I may, you know, you can't use Medicare out here, but I've got other options of
Right.
going to France and getting full health coverage for free because I'm a French citizen, so I can get health coverage for free, retirement
Wow.
health coverage. So I'm
Okay.
probably going to do that. Yeah, foreigners can also get on Phil Health, but it's not going to really cover you. Phil Health changed the policy. It doesn't cover you, a foreigner, for major health
Yeah.
health
That's what I figured.
surgeries. So it doesn't cover. It's really worthless for foreigners.
Hmm.
Robert Morris, yeah, at least 20K. Robert Morris. I wouldn't move to the Philippines unless you got a good chunk of backup money. At least 25,000, at least, and that's really the minimum.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah, you know, definitely sign up for Part A for Medicare. But there's people here I know that have Part A, but they don't have Part B. You know.
So, I mean, did you keep your medical once you made that move? You kept.
No,
Did
I
you?
was on Obamacare and I didn't keep it because I can't use it out here.
Right.
I can't
Exactly.
use my medical here, so there's no sense for me to stay on Obamacare, right? So I
Hmm.
came out here and I'm self-insured. So if something happens, I pay out of pocket.
Wow. Hmm.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I would
that's
suggest, I mean, if you're gonna move to the Philippines, man, you got to have some backup money. You really do.
yeah, definitely.
Now I heard some rumors that they're trying to pass something where you can use your Part B in the Philippines. Again,
Part.
I don't know if it's rumors. I heard rumors, but again, well, I'm not military yet, so TRICARE, I can't do anything with TRICARE.
Okay.
But again, I'll have to see when I get to that point. But I've got other options where I can get on full medical in France on their healthcare system, and it doesn't cost me a dime. So even though, so I'll probably go that route and don't even deal with Part B. But sign up for Part A. Because if you don't sign up for Part A, I think they penalize you. So I'll sign up for Part A and opt out of Part B, and then just if I got any major issue, I just fly to France and get it done there. You know.
Yeah.
So
Obviously. I don't know. It's really just rumors, like you said. But anyways, moving on. I have one last question about visas. What's the one visa that, like you said before, requires you to leave the country for 24 hours?
well, that's any visa. So here's how it works. If you come in on a tourist visa, you can stay in the Philippines as long as you renew your visa, okay, and you're legal for 36 months, okay? And just before you hit the 36-month mark, you have to get out of the country, just fly out. It doesn't have to be 24 hours or anything. All you got to do is just leave Philippine soil, go to another country, and then
Right.
fly back in, and you know, you can restart the clock for another 36 months. So 36 months, you got to do a visa run when you're on a tourist visa. When you're on a Balikbayan visa like I was, you get 12 months. You have to do a visa run just before your 1 year mark hits. Okay,
Right. Hmm.
just a visa run. So whatever kind of visa that you're on, you have to figure out when you have to do that visa run.
Hmm. Okay, that makes sense. Wow. Let me read the chat. What's up, Ed?
Well, again, like the guys are talking in there. Look, man, if you're gonna move to the Philippines, you gotta have some backup money. You do, because what if an emergency happens here? What do? How do you tap money? You got to have some money, right? It's cash society here. So if something happens, your kid gets sick or your wife gets sick, she's got to go to the hospital. You need cash, and you don't have backup money. What are you going to do? So you got to have backup money here, plain and simple. It's not just about you. It's about your spouse, or if you got kids, that kind of stuff. You need backup money. Emergencies will come up here. They will come up. So you got to have some backup money. You really do.
Rayman said I had a long way to go before I retire. Well,
your money here in the Philippines is not taxable, Ed. If you transfer money from the United States to the Philippines, it is not taxable. You don't pay any taxes on your money here.
I'll put it this way, Rayman. People make money and people have income coming in. So, I mean, technically, you can retire by almost probably your late 20s. I've I've heard around, but um, obviously, foreigners go there with the intention of visiting or moving. But like you said, if you're going to move there, you obviously want to have some pocket money and backup emergency money.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you've got an online business and you're making money, Malcolm, and you're living in the Philippines, now you're going to have to pay taxes on that money. You know what I mean? The U.S. is, I think, one of the only countries where if you make an income outside the U.S., you have to declare it on your taxes, which is fine because that'll help you get Social Security points, you know what I mean, towards your retirement, which is fine. But again, like I mentioned to other people, there's really only 3 ways to survive here in the Philippines. One is some kind of investment income, or some kind of income from your investments. Okay, that's one way. And 2 is some kind of retirement income, like Social Security or some kind of retirement pension from your company that you worked at. And the 3rd is invest some kind of online business. That's the only 3 ways you're gonna make money. That's it. There's no other way. You're not gonna come here to open up a restaurant to make money or to open up some kind of business. Again, I have yet seen a business that makes money here. I've yet seen it. I have not seen it. It's not going to be a piggery. It's not going to be a what do you call it? Sorry store. I mean, some guy was talking about PisoNet, and it's oh yeah, they make money off Piso. It's all bullshit. You don't make money off of businesses here. If you somehow figured out a business that's going to make you money here, and once the Filipinos sees that, they're going to do the same thing and they're going to knock you out of business. So again, there's no way of making money here. There's no way. You're not going to make money here.
Speaking of business and making money, we know people like Sentai 7 and
Piggeries don't. Oh, hang on. Somebody says piggeries make money. They really don't, Ed. It's in the money that a piggery's going to make is not going to be able to sustain yourself. I'm talking about there's not going to be any businesses here that's going to be able to sustain you off of that business. You're not going to be able to sustain your monthly expenses off of that business. That's what I mean. Yeah, you can make an extra $50 or $100 off that piggery, but it will not be able to sustain your lifestyle here in the Philippines.
I'll say this: it's just it's probably just one of your streams of income. It's probably not your main but
yeah, you're gonna have to have multiple streams of income to make any kind of money, and you're not gonna come here and live off of $500 a month. It's just not gonna happen for you unless you're living in a shithole and you're not doing anything. You cannot live on $500 a month. You can't. You can't. Yeah, the thing is, if you got a piggery and you don't get a lot of piglets off of one pregnancy, uh, so then you gotta keep feeding these pigs. I mean,
Yeah,
it's really hard to make money.
it is.
It's hard.
I mean, you
Yeah,
got.
but you got to figure in your feed cost, Ed. So you can make
I
50
mean,
bucks a pig. Yeah, that's true. Uh, but you got to figure in your feed cost and all that. You're not gonna. It's no money. You know.
speaking of businesses, I know Sentai Seven has his. I don't know if it's his boat, but he says it's his. Um, he says he makes money off it. I don't think he makes too much with this
Oh, I don't know.
pandemic going on right now. But
Yeah,
what do
nobody's
you
making
think
money
about
off of
that?
that. A boat business? I
I
don't know.
mean,
I think there are a lot of people
can
doing that stuff.
foreigners do something like that? I didn't
You
know
know what?
foreigners could do that.
Well, again, I don't know the all ins and outs about being a foreigner with a boat
Right.
business. I
Yeah.
don't know. Did he really have a boat? Was he renting a boat? Is the boat in his girlfriend's name? We don't really know the whole ins and outs of what
Yeah.
Sentai is doing there. But a boat business has got to be pretty tough, especially when there's no foreigners coming. Again, there's maintenance on the boat. You got to pay the guy you got to pay the guy to drive the boat. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want to have a boat business, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it doesn't seem too bad, but you know, but let me see.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there things in terms of culture wise and within the law and authorities that the foreigners should know and be well equipped and knowledgeable, or at least have an idea of what they're getting into before they start making those initial moves?
Hang on. Let me block somebody here. Well, we'll hide the comment. All right. I'm sorry. So you got a troll you got a troll here talking
Oh,
shit.
I didn't see that.
So I'm sorry. What was your question again?
Oh no, I was just saying, as far as moving goes, are there certain things like culture wise, uh, and as far as laws and authorities go, are there certain things that they should be equipped with and knowledgeable about, or at least have an idea of what they're getting into before they make those initial moves to a country?
You know what? When you come here to the Philippines, as long as you don't really mess with anybody,
Right.
the Filipinos don't mess with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in the U.S., you got all these laws, right? And you got to have to abide by these laws. You got traffic laws, you got this, you got that. Well, you
Right.
got laws here as well, but you can break these laws. Like you can drive down the street the wrong way or do this or do that, and they don't really mess with you. As long as you don't go out there and kill somebody or something, you don't do something stupid like that. Filipinos don't really mess with you. That's what's nice about it. The laws are lax, right?
Yeah.
When you come here, you're probably not going to be hanging out with a lot of Filipinos. You're going to be hanging out with mostly probably expats and stuff.
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
thing about it is when you hang out, if you're hanging out with Filipinos, you're going to have to pay every time you go out and do something. You're going to be paying it. You're going to have to pay, right? Because they can't afford it. So you're
Right.
most likely going to be not going to be really hanging out with Filipinos. You're going to be hanging out with expats most of the time. But as long we were talking about the subject the other day, as long as you don't go crazy and kill somebody or doesn't do something really stupid like that, you break minor laws and stuff like that. They don't really care. They don't.
I
They
mean,
really don't. I mean, it's rare you get pulled over for a traffic violation, but if you do, in like the major cities, just give the guy 50 pesos or 100 pesos. He just lets it go. He's not gonna mess with you. So really, it's really laxed here, and that's what I like. They don't really enforce laws here. They really don't.
yeah, that's just just because you said that, it kind of makes some people, some foreigners, really iffy about moving here, let alone visiting, because we all hear the horror stories about foreigners coming over there, and them the foreigner not really doing much of anything to anyone, but um, uh, sometimes you might hear a story or two where the foreigner is even in another country, they're getting messed with, they're bullied or whatever, they're getting murdered, things like that. So, which brings me to my next question: what can a foreigner do to avoid that type of trouble, or like staying away from local
Well,
authorities, jail or
well,
court?
well, dude. I mean, just like any country you go to, if you're gonna be hanging out with bar girls, or you're gonna be going somewhere to look for drugs, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. If you're hanging out with people that really are kind of troublemakers or this or that, you know what I mean, or you're hanging out with prostitutes and stuff, that's where the cops are going to be watching you, you know. So
Obviously,
if you're in order for you to stay out of trouble, don't hang out with people that are how should I say troublemaker. Don't like out. Don't don't do illegal shit. you know.
yeah,
So stay on the up and up, man. Stay away from the seedy life
yeah.
of the Philippine society. You know.
Uh, city, aka Manila, the heart of it, the belly of the beast.
Hmm.
So yeah, and what, do you have any advice for foreigners that don't know certain things about the country? Like, for example, a lot of places not having how you say toilet paper, wet towels or whatever.
Well, I mean, these are things you have to kind of. I mean, I don't leave. I don't go anywhere without a roll of toilet paper. I got a roll of toilet paper under my scooter seat. You know what I'm saying? So if you're
Right,
somewhere and you got to go to the John and they ain't got no toilet paper, at least you got some paper with you, or you're
right,
gonna do the tableau. Uh, so again, understanding the culture, understanding how things work before you get here. Now, there's only so much you can learn before you get here. Once you get here, you go through the trial and errors as well. You know, wet
right.
wipes. Yeah, Rain Man says wet wipes, stuff like that. So, but that's minor stuff. That's not a big deal. You know, uh,
Yeah,
but but I think also, starting out in the right city when you get here, you want to start out in the right place, in the right city. You start out in the wrong town, that might kind of turn you off and you might go back home, you know?
yeah.
So kind of figure out where you want to start out at. And if you can come in that and check out that city before you actually move here full time, that's
Hmm.
even better on one of your trips. That's even better. But really figure out, where do you really want to start out at? Because that's going to make a difference whether you make it here or not, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I have some relative or relatives that wants to um, come with me next time I go, and they have no clue about certain things. So I'm glad you said what you said.
Yeah. And, one of the things I want to go back and say, uh, and when I said that you can't live on 500 a month, Ed Lippert says he can't, and Ed can in his situation. Okay, now if you're in a situation, most people that come to the Philippines, they're most likely going to be on a tourist visa, especially the single guys coming here. Now, a
Yeah,
single guy coming here on a tourist visa, he's not going to be married. He's not going to be able to build a house on his wife's property and all that. He doesn't have the benefits that, say, somebody like Ed has that's married to a local. Okay, that already has a piece of land where he can just build a house, and then then reduces his monthly expenses. So we're talking about the average guy that comes here that's most likely single, that starts off from scratch, that's going to have to pay rent and this and that. You can't live on $500 a month. So that's when I want to reiterate that and make sure that I clarified that statement that I did. Some people come out, they have YouTube channels, says they can live on $500 a month. And when you look at their situation, they're living in an area where there's nothing. That's why the rent is cheap, and they don't do anything. I mean, we go out to different restaurants, we go travel, we go to other parts of the island, we go to resorts. That's doing stuff. I don't want to come to the Philippines and live somewhere for $500 a month and do nothing. That's not living in the Philippines, and that's just my opinion on that. You can come here and do nothing. I know vloggers that do nothing. All they do is exist, and that's not what living in the Philippines is. You're not gonna enjoy the Philippines.
Yeah, it'd be like kind of like living here,
Right, living in the States. You're just paying your bills. You're existing from month to month. You don't want to come. If you got to do that in the Philippines, then I don't recommend that you come out here.
No, you want some kind of wiggle room, elbow room.
Yeah, you really do, because emergencies are going to come up. You're going to need some extra money or this or that. Things pop up. It happens. You need that extra money.
Right.
I would start saving now if I were you. Even if it's $100 a month, $200 a month, start socking that shit away, man.
Man, I'm way ahead of you. I've put money in the stock market. And, what else? What else? What was that called? Real
Bought
estate.
A stock? Oh, real estate. But you bought some property?
No. I just put some money in the real estate market.
Oh, in the REIT, REIT.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Nothing wrong with investing. Get a couple of good mutual funds, sink a little money, but don't put all your money into these funds. You put some in the funds and you put some in savings. That's all. Diversify. That's all you gotta do. Yeah.
So, is speaking of the law, is it really geared towards just locals, or does it really matter what the situation is and who you are?
You know what? If you got to go to court to sue a Filipino or go up against a Filipino in court, you're probably going to lose as a foreigner. Okay. You don't really have as much pull as a local does. Even if the local was wrong, they're probably going to side with the local.
All right.
So keep that in mind. You're a foreigner.
Yeah.
So what I would suggest is keep your nose clean.
Yeah.
And stay under the radar. That's what's kind of nice. It's easy to stay under the radar. We stick out like sore thumbs because we're foreigners, right? Because we look, white skin, black skin, we're foreigners. But if you keep your nose clean, you can stay under the radar. Nobody messes with you, man. It's cool. You can pretty much do whatever you want here, man. Anything goes, dude. I'm telling you. And it's it's fun, man. No issues.
Speaking of being under the radar, do you have any advice for foreigners in terms of like natural disasters that may happen there, that might happen to like where they're living at currently, their property or something?
You get earthquakes here just like anywhere in the world. We live on an island of Negros. I haven't really heard too many issues here. I think there was an earthquake here, though, not too long ago, up in the Valencia area. But again, you just deal with it, just like anything else.
Yeah.
You just deal with it. But again, so far, I haven't witnessed any of that. There are some volcanoes here. It could be live volcanoes. But just like anything, just go to, we don't really see too many issues here in Negros. Now, if you live on the outer islands, like Leyte and some of the other outer islands, which is right off the, like the Pacific coast and stuff, they get a lot more, the weather's a lot more violent, you know.
Right.
You get a lot of storms and stuff like that. Then yeah, you know, you're probably gonna have your house, you know, washed out and stuff like that. And there's really no, I don't know if there's any insurance for houses here, property insurance. I'm not really sure, but the outer islands are gonna get hit more than the inner islands, you know. So on the
Right.
island of Negros, we're the inner islands. We don't really get typhoons and stuff like that. You know, the other islands will bear the brunt before it gets to us. You know?
Yeah, because I don't know if you remember, wasn't an
In
earthquake.
Tagaytay,
It was, I want to say last year
in
or
Tagaytay, that
no,
the
it was
volcano
this
erupted.
year. Actually, in December, January, the one of the volcanoes erupted, and it,
In Tagaytay, yeah,
yeah, blew ash like all over.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you go to an area where there's no volcanoes. That's all. That's what you got to do. You know,
right,
that's what you do.
that's true. Yep. But no, man, I don't want to hold you too long. I know you
Okay,
have things to do, so I just
cool.
want to make a short little video for any
Oh, that's fine.
individual,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Like the Rain Man says, Samar, Leyte, yeah, eastern part of Luzon, they get hit by typhoons all the time, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, man. But I appreciate you coming on anyway.
No
Taking
problem, Malcolm.
the day.
Anytime. Hopefully, you'll get your channel going again. Start doing some videos, and you know, even if you just got to pop a video up once in a while, just to keep your channel going. That's cool.
Yeah,
It's
I
kind of
will.
hard to come up with the content when you're in the States, you know.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
it
All
definitely
right,
is.
man.
I'm eventually I'm keep in contact, man. Keep you up to date with everything, and hopefully we'll get to link up one time when I'm there, or even
Yeah,
one.
cool. Yeah, you know, we can hook up in Manila or something, or you know, if I
Yeah,
ever once in a
yeah,
while we've been to Angeles one time, Angeles City, but Manila we tend to go to Manila a lot. So
yeah,
yeah, if you're ever in Manila, no problem, and hook up for a drink or something like that, either in Makati or in Ermita or Malate or something like that. You
yeah,
know,
definitely. Yeah, I appreciate it,
cool.
man.
No problem. All right, man. I'll talk to you later. Take care.
All right, you too, man. Thanks. Have a good one.
All right, take care. Yeah, Ray, man. I know I still owe you lunch. You little e-beggar. Troublemaker is what you are. No, I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Take care.
All right, man. Be safe.
Yeah, be cool.
Yeah. So. Yep. Eventually, I will be starting to do what's called forex trading or day trading. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that. Uh, got money in the stock market and all that good stuff. So hopefully, you guys will see me in the Philippines sooner rather than later, and me and Rayman can link up. And next time, I'll pay the tab for Rayman. But no, man, I appreciate that last time. That was real nice, even though I didn't get to finish my plate. But yeah, what the hell did I order? I think I ordered like some fish or chicken and some rice or something. That fish was a lot, man. Anyways, I don't want to take you guys' time up too long. I know you guys got stuff to do in different time zones, so I'm gonna let you guys go and have your time. And I got something I gotta do too. So you guys be safe out there, stay out of trouble, and don't catch COVID. All right, peace.